Hi, and welcome to Childcare Challenges and Dilemma Within Daycare. Today, I'm the host, Tasheianna, and we have three very special guests, lovely lady providers also and advocacy from Pennsylvania. We have Tina, we have Ethel, and we have Denise. Tina, you want to take it off and introduce yourself and tell me a little bit about you.
Hi, I'm Tina Butz. I'm in childcare, family daycare home since 1983, and I'm a Star 4 provider.
Ethel?
Okay, I've been doing daycare 33 years. I have a group daycare home for 12 children, 0 to, 13 years old.
Denise?
Hi, I'm Denise Cressman. I've been doing childcare for 38 years, 32 years in this house.
Okay, I've been doing childcare for 20 years. So
Yeah. And I care for children like Ethel. Now I'm a Star 4 family childcare. So Pennsylvania, that's up to 6 children.
up to 6 children in Pennsylvania for family childcare.
Yeah, we're all Star 4.
Right. And then 7 to 12 children in a group home, in a home, and anything over that number, you have to be in a center.
Okay.
Now, depending on the ages, a group home, right, Ethel, if you have all children over 3, you can have 12 by yourself or something, right?
I think it's 10. I think it.
Okay. So the
10 I
ratios
could have.
change in group
Not sure.
depending on the ages.
Okay.
Right.
But in family childcare, it's 1 to 6, no matter what the age is.
And what about aftercare, like after school?
Doesn't matter. You can only have 6 children in family childcare.
Okay. Well, in the state of Connecticut, we could have 6 full time and 3 after school, so 9 total with 1 person. If you want full time, you can have 9 with a substitute in the state of Connecticut. In New York, I think it's up to 12. It's up to 12 in New York. I'm not sure. I got to recheck that. I forgot. And how about you, Tina?
A family so I can have 6.
6. Okay. So, do you guys have a union?
There is a union in Pennsylvania.
Okay. And do the union fight for you to get more children at all, or would you guys like more? Is that good enough for you to 6?
The child care union in Pennsylvania is not a strong advocate for child care providers at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
So what are some of the dilemmas that you face that you guys would like to have help with, that you feel like you're not getting enough support on it?
so one of the things is when our regulations right now are open and they will be changing. We don't know when. We saw the proposed regs. We had a really grassroots advocacy group that went and told the state, you're wrong. These are not going to fly. And supposedly they've been changed. But nobody has seen the changes, which is difficult. And one of the things we did ask for was just what Connecticut has. Like, how do you care for a child from 0 to when they start school and then say you can't come anymore or you need to pay for a full-time slot and you're only there an hour in the morning and an hour after school, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let us do what other states do and have 6 full-time children and three additional kids in an hour before school and the hour after school.
Correct.
That did not fly. They wouldn't even consider it. Part of Pennsylvania's dilemma, I think, is there is no one in the upper echelon of OCDEL that comes from a childcare background, except our current Deputy Secretary of Certification. The rest of them come from a Head Start background, and they just don't get it, right? They don't get that we don't have unlimited funds and we can't buy $10,000 playgrounds. They don't get that parents choose family childcare because they want their child in a home environment. So our quality initiative and some of these new regs want to make us little centers. And that's not why parents choose us, right? They choose us because their kids eat at a dining room table or they sit on a sofa in the living room. And so that's difficult. Okay. And Pennsylvania has done a very good job at promoting pre-K counts, which is our free preschool to get children ready for kindergarten. Family childcare is prevented by statute participating in pre-K counts. And we have done a very poor job in educating our legislators to the fact that childcare has been providing quality education and preparing students for kindergarten for more than 40 years in the state of Pennsylvania. Okay. And so the legislators, there's a big disconnect. They don't understand the difference between pre-K counts and childcare, and all of the funding goes to pre-K counts. So currently in pre-K counts, they go from 9 to 2, right, Tina? 9 to 2?
Yep, they get to pick the hours, but generally that's the hours.
Not 9 to 2. They don't provide transportation to and from pre-K, so it's parent transport. And they are paid, I think it's up to $12,000 a child with state money to be in pre-K. The parents can make, it's a very generous salary cap for parents to participate. And so what's happening to childcare is we're losing our 3 and 4 year olds because they can go for free and the parents just make arrangements for transportation, or they choose a childcare center that has wraparound care for pre-K. So they're getting $12,000 a year for the pre-K student, and then they're getting the wraparound care for the additional 5 or 6 hours a day. And childcare right now is struggling to get children in certain geographic areas of Pennsylvania. And it has impacted 180 days, right? And then, so it has adversely impacted home-based childcare, both in a group setting and it has definitely impacted family childcare. We have lost, I think since COVID, we have lost 42%.
And the pre-K counts can be online in the bad snow days when there's no school, where daycare can't.
Yeah. So, I mean, it has, it's definitely adversely affected childcare, home-based childcare in particular. And it's hard to compete with free. And the other thing is the legislators don't understand the difference between childcare and pre-K. And they fund pre-K and they don't fund childcare. And we've probably lost, I don't know the exact numbers, I have them written down somewhere, but I know we've lost at least 42% of licensed family childcare providers since COVID. People that never came back to the business, and we're not opening, and we're not getting the young people. Like, we were all young when we started in this. We did it to stay home with our kids, right? We're not getting that population now. The millennials are not, there's no benefits. There's no upside to home-based childcare except you get to stay home with your own children. I mean, I've done this in Pennsylvania for 38 years. I am an extreme advocate for family childcare in Pennsylvania. I'm on the national, the federal level with childcare committees. Honestly, in all good faith, I could not encourage anyone to come into this industry right now. And it's sad. and we do have a union, but they don't strongly advocate. They're very, very strong in Pennsylvania, in Philadelphia and Harrisburg, a little bit in Pittsburgh, but they don't hit the rural population, and we're all rural. So,
and that's the one that we say we hear a lot in Connecticut too. That the inner city have more advocacy than the rural population, and this is why I created this podcast. So we, the rural population, can have a voice, to be the voice of the unvoiced. The people like you and I to express themselves and not be limited and sugar-coated like they want us to do, and limit ourselves in what we have to say and how we truly feel about what's going on in childcare. And you're right. And like you said, 42% of providers closed their door in COVID and not reopened. And that's a lot. And the thing is that our children are suffering. Our children are suffering, and this is why we need to put a stop to it. And we need to find out a way. I'm going to ask our union director and Eva, she's a Childcare Coalition, if she could join us. And we set up another meeting again with all four of us. And maybe she could go over there. She's a big advocate for childcare. And she'll go around and she does. When I tell her, she will love it and she'll have passion of it. And that's what she does. And she fights for the rural population. She fights for everyone. Okay? And like you said, and six children, it's not even a lot. And I know down here what I said when I go testify, and when I go to testify and speak to the legislator, I explain to them that I would like to make this a career for people that want to be childcare. It's not only about staying at home with your kids anymore. Okay? It's about making it a career, because not everyone is going to go to college. I know in Connecticut, they reward you to go to college. If you want to go to college, you get a degree, you get a certain amount, and they pay you. I don't know, is that in Pennsylvania?
So in Pennsylvania, we were required to have a high school diploma or a GED.
Mm-hmm.
Then with our quality system, we're required to have a degree, either a CDA, an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree. So it's our quality program that requires the higher education. Our licensing just requires a high school diploma and a GED.
Okay. And in Connecticut, I'm not. I have both, but I don't know if in Connecticut we have to have a high school diploma. I'm not sure, because I know people that just came over and don't have one, and are providers. Like I'm from Jamaica. And I know I have a young lady that's from Jamaica, and she don't have a high school diploma here, and she's able to open up childcare provider. She do like all the requirements of care for kids and everything that our OEC or licensing department require. But as far as Ethel and the home side, how do you handle it? Because you're allowed to have 12 kids, right, Ethel?
I can have 12, yeah.
For the home side, how do you handle it? Where's your challenges? I understand for us providers, there's a lot of dilemma within it. As Denise was going on, how is for the home, for the group home, family home?
Well, I am allowed 12 children, but if I take an infant, then that puts me into a different ratio where I need extra staff. So
The staffing's your issue, trying to get staff and maintain staff
staffing.
and keeping staff and having to pay for that. That's the biggest. And same like for me, I used to have a substitute. So if I wanted to take time off and everything, and it's hard to get that substitute anymore.
Yeah, I know that's the issue with substitute, and that's the issue facing why we can't hire a lot of substitutes. And you can infants, because I know here, like for family, they allow you 2 infants, 2 under the age of 2 here. Plus, you get by yourself, you can have 2. And like I tell you, I have up to 9 children, right? It's 6 full time and 3 before and 3 after. The 9 children. So they don't allow that in your state? Like,
Yes, with us, if we take an infant, then that lowers our ratio for how many. Like if I have 2 infants, that I'm allowed a max of 2 infants, and then I can only have so many toddlers, and then I have to have more preschoolers. I can't have 6 infants. And I know a lot of my friends that have centers and everything like that too, a lot of them cut down infants because the ratio is smaller and they can't get teachers. So they cut out infant rooms. So if you have an infant right now in our
Yeah, they
area,
cut out.
it's really hard to get childcare.
Okay, so if you have one infant, and you said they allow six, if you have one infant, how many kids are you allowed to, how many
I
children?
can still have 6, but I have to watch my ages of what the other children are.
Oh,
You know, there's a ratio,
It
like
goes
how
to
if
the
you have one
lower.
infant, then you can
Yeah.
have X amount of toddlers versus preschoolers. Now I can have 6 preschoolers, but there's a ratio mix, like how many one infant versus 2 infants. The max is 2 infants. I have it written down because I can't ever keep it all straight. One infant, X amount of toddlers, X amount, versus the preschoolers. 2 infant, one infant versus 2 infants to that mix.
okay, and Denise, you say you're on the federal level. When you go there and you advocate for providers, and you said you wouldn't recommend anyone coming into this career field. And if there's a change, what the change would you call, and what change that you would ask them to make in order to make this a career level for someone that want to come out of high school, that enjoy doing what they're doing, and it's not only about staying at home with their kids, but really have a passion for it. And they don't have the fun right now to start a daycare center. I would like to start it in a home daycare center.
So I think one thing that needs to be done is there's no funds, not for home based or in a commercial space, to help you start your childcare. Okay,
Hmm.
and it's expensive to buy the equipment necessary to start a childcare, whether it's in your home or it's in a commercial business. In Pennsylvania, there's nothing.
Mhm.
And the second thing isn't even money's always an issue,
Mhm.
but it's the lack of respect for what we do that is a bigger issue.
Mhm.
There is definitely a lack of respect for someone who meets all the licensing requirements in their home, whether it's a small home or a large home. And there is a different perception, even from a parent's point of view, that is improving with time. But it's really the lack of respect. For me, is a bigger issue than income. But as somebody who has, and in Pennsylvania, it's very difficult for a home-based childcare provider because Pennsylvania is a commonwealth, not a state.
Right.
So all of our power is held at the local level. So when you could live in literally one community and across the street is a different community, and the local rules for you to start a childcare could be different as the temperature from Alaska to Hawaii. Okay? So, and there is the state washes their hands and says it's all at the local level for you to get your occupancy permit. So it could cost a provider in one community $500 for all the licensing, the local zoning, just, her occupancy inspection and where to put her smoke detectors and all that kind of stuff. In the next town over, it could cost that provider $300. In the next town over from that, it could be several $1,000s. So that's a big issue indicative to a commonwealth. But the bigger issue is it's hard to start a business with no funds besides your personal funds. And providers don't know how to do a business plan. Do you know what I'm saying? We've done a really poor job preparing the home-based childcare community to be a business. There's many providers that don't take a paycheck, right? What's left over at the end of the week is what they take. And if there's one thing that COVID did, and I'm not saying it was a good thing or a bad thing, it did bring to the forefront how financially fragile home-based childcare is. Because we don't approach it as a business to start.
They look at us as a babysitter. I think we just put them in front of the TV and said, okay, watch TV.
Too. They come and they go whenever they feel like it. And they're going up to Head Start and they're all excited. And I wonder if they'll be on time there. They don't seem to show us the respect.
Or follow the rules.
Mm-hmm.
Or be late with the payment there.
Wow. I'm reading it and I'm seeing where in Pennsylvania, right? They're saying childcare provider earn less than $40,000 per as their kindergarten teachers, right? And they contribute to more than 3,300 vacancies for children and educators, blended to over 16,000 fewer children in childcare. So how do you guys and what do you guys think of 16,000 over 16,000 children now that's all without childcare? What are some of the issues and some of the that the legislator working to solve that issue, to close that gap? It's 16,000 children, and it's over 3,300 vacancies that's available. So childcare people, like you said, 44%, or 47, I think, a percent of providers that's closing home, leaving 16,000 children. That's how many parents that can't afford to put their kids in childcare. So how do you, when you said you when you present this, Denise, to your legislator, because you said you advocate for them, what are some of the ideas they comes up with to say, okay, this is how we can solve it?
There's lots of issues with, so number one, the first thing they should do is expand the income limit for subsidized childcare. Okay. The very poor can afford childcare because it's subsidized. And the very wealthy can afford to put their children wherever they want to because they can pay for it. It's the people in the middle that have to,
for
the working, well, yeah, and the middle class that have to patch it together with neighbor relative providers, with illegal providers, with parents working different shifts to accommodate, the cost of childcare. We need to expand those limits. Then we need to pay childcare providers who accept subsidized children the market rate, not even the market rate, the true cost of care to take care of a child. Okay. Right now in Pennsylvania, we are paid at the 60th percentile for our subsidy children. And we wait sometimes because we are paid the middle to the end of the next month. So we are not paid sometimes for 6 weeks till we get our pay for the month before, right? If you start a child on the 1st of the month and you're not paid till the 15th of the following month. And so for that reason, providers can't afford to take more than a certain percentage of children because they just lose too much money in the process. And now Pennsylvania, in all their wisdom, they have a, what is that called, Tina? How they pay us based on the STARS program.
Oh yeah. I forget what that's called.
Come on, Ethel, help us. What's that called? An adder. They
An
pay us
adder,
on the
yes.
STARS adder.
Yeah.
So
STARS add-on rate.
yes, STARS add-on rate that used to go to the provider, right? And we could use that $10 a day if you're a star 4, that $50 a week from each child, when could go back into your program. You could use it for whatever you wanted.
That replaced our grant.
Right. It replaced our grant, our education and retention award, and our merit award. Now the state has decided that if you charge the difference between your private pay rate and what subsidy pays to the parent, your subsidy adder has to offset that cost. So basically, they've given what we've worked for to the parents. And quite honestly, I am the original contract signer in my county. I am the first provider 30 years ago when they started subsidy. I signed the original contract, first in the county. I'm down to my last subsidized child, and I, in all honesty, will not take anymore. Not that I don't love them, not that I don't think that they deserve.
And all I have is subsidy.
Right. And not that I
And-
don't think
well-
that they deserve to be in quality, but I can't afford to take them.
Well, I get paid more to have the subsidy than I do the private because I don't add the money on. I don't add it on to the, because I feel like they're tapped out. They're the working poor.
How do you handle it? Because I know it comes down to private pay. For us, private pay, they have problems paying it. So what I do, I intended to not charge a family fee because it's either lose 80%, right, or lose 20%, the other 20%. So for me, say for example, I make $200 a month. The Stanford kids, that's the one, the subsidy for us here in Connecticut. Stanford kids will pay probably $100, $150 per month. And that $50 that they have to pay, I will charge them. And then we have parents that come that don't go by the time, don't pick up their kids in time, right? Always have something. So how do you guys, I take the cut for that. Each month I'm losing over $3,000 a month in fees that I do not charge. And that's just on the subsidy level. I could charge in the state of Connecticut more if I want to. But I see these parent paychecks because they give it to me and I upload it to the Stanford kids when they apply for the subsidy. And when I see their paycheck and knowing that they have to pay for rent, insurance, and food on the table, and I see how hard it is. So how do you guys deal with parents like those?
It's hard. That you have to because we got our bills that we have to pay.
Yeah, they have to pay us.
And this is the thing why we want to talk about how can we get to this to fight? What can other providers do to help these legislators understand? I know you said you're on it and you're on the committee, but how can other providers like Ethel, Denise, and other providers in your community participate to help these legislators understand what we're going through? Because it's not only a Connecticut issue, it's a Pennsylvania, New York, it's a statewide issue that's going on. This is the pandemic. In the pandemic, we were considered essential. We were considered the best person ever because when centers closed their doors, family child care stayed open. Family child care did not care about the risk of their family. We put those children first because we love what we do, right? And now, how can we get more providers? What would you like to see to have a better law put in place?
So it comes back to money. It comes back to funds to start a business, whether that's a small business associate, administration task. Okay. The second thing is there has to be, and I've said this for 40 years, there has to be a paid mentor program. So somebody like Tina or Ethel that's ran a business for, how many years, who has and I have my degree. I am not against book learning, okay? But you don't need a book to learn, okay? And life experience from someone who lives the life, walks the walk, and talks the talk, okay?
Amen.
They're the people that need to hold the hands of the new providers, that somebody who wants to do this. not somebody from the state, not some inspector coming in and saying, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong, and making them fearful of the program, right? They
Yep.
need someone who understands the everyday trials. They need someone who knows what it's like to have your own sick child that you've been up all night with, and you've been cleaning puke and poop and whatever else, and you're still opening the door that next morning with 2 hours sleep, a sick kid on the sofa, and you're still taking your 6 children in because those parents need to go to work, right?
Right.
You know, whose heart is broken because you have a family moving and they've had a 10-year history with you. Okay. But to tell them all the good stories, the birthday parties we're invited to, the graduations we're invited to, the weddings we're invited to, the second generation children that come to our care. Okay. The successes and the rewards far outweigh anything that has ever been a setback for any of us. The people in the licensing office don't know that jargon. They've never walked the walk, they never talked the talk, but they also don't respect us to pay us for our knowledge. And that's the biggest disconnect that I see. Now, some trying to think the state that has a paid mentor program, I don't think it's the whole state. I think it was a city initiative. And I can see the girl, but I can't remember the state. But there are states that are doing this. Pennsylvania is not one of them. Now, I will say the union in Philadelphia, if you're a union member in Philadelphia, they are big on helping providers come into the business. They will do a mock inspection for them. They will be there with the provider when the state comes in to do the initial inspection. So if you're in Philadelphia and you're a union member, that's available to you. And that's just a big emotional support, like when somebody's coming in to inspect you and you have an advocate on your side. Do you know what I'm saying? That's just, that's what we need. And we not only need it in Pennsylvania, that's what's needed across the country. And, and we need providers who've been in the business 10, 15, 20, 40 years to be able to say, like Tina and I and Ethel, did you all ever imagine when you opened your doors that you were going to be doing this for when your children were 40?
Nope.
Right? Like I was going to do it till my youngest went to kindergarten. Then I was going to do it till he, got through middle school. Then I was going to do, and here I am, still doing it. Those are the stories we need to tell people, that there is longevity in this industry, but we need to approach this as a business first. And that's the problem with longevity here. If you don't approach it as a business first, you don't survive. You don't. And it's a harsh reality that it has to be a business first. Like Tina said, we need to be able to survive. We need to collect those family fees because we have our own bills we have to pay. Ethel, what was the hardest part about starting your business yourself and going to group?
I had to work 2 jobs because I was always group. But no, I was family first. I was family, just 6 children. And then I went to group. But I didn't have many children when I first started. There was, I didn't know all the different agencies that were out there. Even the food program, I didn't know.
Okay.
And I had to work 2 jobs to get the business going.
I had to work 2 jobs too at first. Yep. And then having little kids and having to be able to do that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It was hard at first.
And since you're in group, you're saying that it's harder being in group than it was in family. But how about the regulation?
Well, the family, I started with just 2 or 3 kids, and then it started to grow, and the word got out, and I got more calls. So I thought, well, I'll go to group. I'll go to 12, and that's when I started with staff.
In the state of Connecticut, a lot of providers are doing 2, 3 jobs. in order, while doing the daycare, in order to stay, be able to make ends meet and, provide for their family. So as Denise said earlier about staying home with the family, when I got into it, I could tell you that was my first thing because I had a job offer me $60,000, but I was a mother of 8 kids. At the time, I had 4, and then I went and had 2 more. Then I went and had 2 more, so I have 8 children. But when I first started 4, and I realized how expensive childcare is, I'm like, eventually, I was just going to work to pay the provider, right? And the subsidy helped, but I did not go on it. I'm sorry. I don't bash anyone that got it, but on the other hand, I think I was an able body. I am an able body, and I find another way, an alternative way. The subsidy helped us, but I did not go on it. The subsidy was a lot, and when I got the job, they wanted me to show that when I applied for the subsidy, they say you have to show that you're going to look for a job. I said, well, if I look for a job, I'm going to be paying more. And what they were paying at the time, they offered me, I guess, $110 per child, and the provider wanted $300. So in that way, I'm still going to have to pay per child, and this is full time. So I decided not to go with a subsidy. I started my own childcare program. I started doing Uber. I did Uber with it. As long as doing Uber, I was selling canned bottles, burgers. I was doing a lot, and that's what a lot of providers are doing, right? And like you said earlier, the income, we're not getting paid enough. We're really not getting. So we basically volunteer to pay for, right? And we need more funding, but it's not. It takes more than just the force that's here, and this is why this platform was created. That when it goes out there, so this platform is available in every streaming app, Pandora, YouTube, everyone, Amplify, Amazon, everything. So I feel so when it's out there, I will legislate and hopefully everyone that listens to see the struggle that we face and who to get to be elected officials. So we have a lot of struggles. The childcare dilemma is they realize, I know in the state of Connecticut, they realize that how serious it is and how underpaid childcare provider is. And in Pennsylvania, I see the same thing. But our conclusion and what we need to do, we need to find a permanent fix, something permanently. What do you guys suggest that we in Connecticut to help you guys with over there? Because I would like to see, like I tell you, I'm going to ask Eva, if Eva is bring a man to come on and put 11 meetings. So maybe you guys, she could come up with something, and she's a really good advocate. And she could be able to meet you guys over there by Zoom and get in contact with your official. Because she knows more about that political side than I do. What do you guys would like us to help you with from this side, from the state of Connecticut? What would you guys like for us to do?
Be nice if they would recognize us and give us some kind of benefits. I don't know that that'll ever happen. It's like, I almost feel like they don't want us to be here anymore. They want it to be federal instead of home daycares.
Right. So health insurance is a big cost to family child care providers. If you don't have a spouse that has a full-time job to provide the benefits, like I know that my neighbor who does family child care pays just for her because her husband's already on Medicare. When he retired, she lost her benefits. She pays over $1,200 a month for a single person for benefits. Okay. There should be, and I'm not saying that the state would have to provide benefits for us, but there should be a program like CHIP, not just for childcare providers, but any self-employed small business person. If you're a mom and pop grocery store, if you're the local hairdresser, there should
The
be,
proprietor.
right. Yeah. If you're a sole proprietor, there should be a place where you could go, like Chip, and get reasonable benefits. Most childcare providers retire without a retirement. Like, we don't have IRAs, or if you run your business right, because you have so many expenses, right? You're not paying mega bucks into Social Security. So most providers are not at all prepared for retirement. And they're not prepared for the fact that if they lose their benefits because they lose their spouse, or their spouse retires, or they divorce, or whatever, benefits are basically non-affordable if you're a sole proprietor.
If
And
we're not lucky to have a good husband to have that stuff, we're in bad shape.
I can speak firsthand on that as well. My husband is a barber, as Ethel knows. My husband is a barber, and he's been a barber since 1999. And I we've had no health insurance, and I went to they have a marketplace there, like Access Health, that allows to purchase health insurance there. And my health insurance for infants is over $2,000 a month. So I understand. And then my deductible, because I have asthma, I'm asthmatic, and my son has EpiPen. He's allergic to shell and peanut, and he also has eczema. My deductible is over $12,000 a year. Okay. So I understand, and that's what we find over here. We're not asking the state to give us anything. We don't want your handout. What we want is, we're not saying we're working for you. Create a system where it's like at a like marketplace that you could go there and say, all right, we have this insurance company that we work with that we're going to send providers to, and we're going to discount it rate because we have over 4,000 providers that will go towards you to purchase these health insurance. Thinking with 401k, because that's the problem we have. Okay, the 401k, we asking the state, okay, you know what we could do? We put $20, you match it. You put $10. We can put 20, you put 10. We asking you to help us out with, because like you said, we don't have a 401k unless we create that on our own. We have to put that aside. And not making enough money in this industry is hard to do for a time. I know you have other providers that, well, you could do it, you could go to the bank and do it, you could do this, you could do that, but they don't see. They may make more than we do, and they may have a spouse that does all this stuff. And that's the struggle that we also face here in Connecticut, and that's what we trying to advocate for. I know we have our union did a negotiate for 11% increase, and on the campuses, right? So each year we get 11% increase. This year we get 11%. Next year we get the next 11% for 3 years. But I think last year, this year, and the year after, and then 25 we go back to the board again and negotiate. I'm hoping that with this negotiation they will put in the contract for providers to have health insurance and 401k. Okay, and I know, are you any of you guys in the union or no?
no,
Okay, and that's what the union. So don't you guys still get the same benefit as anyone that's not in the union? Because I know for us, even if you over here, that even the one that don't pay union dues and are not in the union, they still entitled to the same benefits as the one that pay union. They just don't
We're
get.
supposed to.
They just don't get the same amount. Like, for example, if you're private, we get 11%. If you're not in the union and you're private, you get 6%.
We're supposed to have the same benefits even if we're not paying dues. Am I correct on that, Denise? Point.
I don't think so. I think it would be like Connecticut. Union members would get a higher percentage than non-union.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
But if we need representation, they're supposed to represent us.
Right. Mm-hmm.
oh, so they do represent you guys the same way as for.
I honestly don't know what their contract with the Commonwealth looks like. I can't answer that question. 'Cause
Okay.
I
It's
don't know what
changed
their
from the
contract looks
original.
like.
Denise and I were on the original, and a lot of it changed since then. It's
Right.
not what it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So-
Denise and I wrote it out in Harrisburg in the original umpteen million years ago. And it's completely changed from the original.
Okay, I hear the dilemma, the challenges that you guys face. And what about you, Tina? What do you have to say? You've been very quiet.
There's a lot of challenges. There's been a lot of changes. Like I said, I've been in it since 1983. The rule books have changed dramatically. That's a lot of challenges, I think, to a lot of providers. The new changes from what we saw, and hopefully they're going to change and not going to get passed. They're supposed to not get passed because if the things that they want to change are going to get changed, it's going to be a big downfall for a lot of daycares. And that's a sad, sad day. And I think that they're just hurting daycare if they do that. And it's just a lot of things that are running through my mind right now. But like Denise said, we need a mentor program to help people. Because when I started in 1983, basically just had to hang a sign out. You didn't need to do a lot. Daycare was fun back then. You got to be a kid. You got to have fun. You got to sit and play with the kids. You got to do a lot of fun things with the kids. You taught them by sitting down and playing with them and having a good time. And it was fun. Now today, it's paperwork, 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 and it takes all the fun out of it. And you can't be a kid with them anymore and have as much fun as you used to because it's this, it's that. You got to do this, you got to do that. And it's just not what it used to be. And you just can't have all that fun like you used to. I'm not saying it's not fun, but it's just not what it used to be. And it's too much of this, too much of that. You taught kids you can't touch this or you can't do that. Now it's like everything is just has to be like so protective that the kid's in a bubble. And then the kid's not learning that way anymore. If that makes sense
Mhm.
from what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Like now I can't even have flowers outside my house because it might be toxic to the child. Tomato plants might be toxic to a child because they might eat the leaves.
Tomato plant.
Exactly.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm serious.
Potatoes.
Yeah. Yeah. The tomato plant might be toxic because they might eat the leaves or the stems off of a tomato plant. Now they can eat the tomatoes, but if they eat the leaves or the stems, that's toxic. That's what I'm talking about. These rules are getting ridiculous. Whoever sits there and writes some of these rules, they are getting totally ridiculous. Like every time you turn around, I have so many damn locks on my house and so many gates on my house. It is totally ridiculous. I can't wait to the day when I can retire and my house can become my house again and not have all these darn locks. And I can't even have a plant in my house. Every darn plant I have is plastic. I can't wait to have a real house again when I finally get to retire.
Okay, so
You taught your children don't touch. Yes, Denise is showing the original pink daycare book.
here's our original reg book. 37 half sheet pages, right? So what are we looking at? Half of 38, help me. 19, right?
Yeah, 19 pages.
19 full sheets of paper in 2005. 72 full sheets of paper today.
Wow.
These are not the new regs.
The new regs are 3 times that.
And that doesn't include all the bulletins that come out to tell us, what we
add-ons.
I can't do. And
Yep.
it's just, we are being regulated to death.
Exactly.
And it's,
He was telling me about something about a tomato plant. I'm sorry, guys, to laugh. A tomato plant might be toxic.
a tomato plant is toxic
Yeah.
to children. It's on the toxic list. It's not poisonous, but it's toxic. If they ate the leaves, they could be sick. So we cannot have them accessible to children in a garden.
Yeah, they're
And-
gonna come out with their cameras. They're gonna come with their phones, and they're gonna go around and look at all our plants.
Right.
And
They
if
have
they're
apps on their
toxic-
phones. Yeah, you're right, Ethel.
Yeah, they're back. Yeah, I had to have my son dig out my rhododendron in the yard because that is toxic.
So you say
I didn't know it was toxic. When
A tiger lily plant.
like
I
we're
have
gonna
tiger
stand
lilies
there
in
and watch.
containers outside my door. I can't have them.
That was good, Ethel. I forgot about the apps on their phones. Yeah, they come and they take pictures of all of our plants.
Yes. Trees.
Yeah,
Trees
Yeah.
outside. I had to put mesh on the fence around my play yard so the kids can't stick their hands through and grab plants off the neighbor's yard or
they
or
come
off
out
the
with
bushes and eat
every
them.
year.
Like,
They
they're
come
gonna
out
sit
with
out there.
different regulations.
We watch them. They're not going to sit out there and eat plants.
wow.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's the newest thing that they're coming on. Yes,
And
we're going to let them sit there and eat the stick through their fence and eat the plants and everything.
but let me ask the question. Just for the rural area, this also applies to the city, the inner city. So this
Oh, it's every childcare in Pennsylvania.
Yes, every child.
In every setting. Family
Yep.
group center, a population of 28 people, a population of 280,000 people. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter.
So if you're in a commercial setting and they have those containers with plants outside the buildings and everything, get rid of the plants.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah.
Those
Yeah,
decorative
it's easy.
plants
Listen,
outside.
it's easy to
As you're
laugh when
walking
you're
through
not
the
living it.
parking lot with the plants, the kids might run off and eat them.
yeah. We're not
Don't you
doing
control your
anything. We're
children
just
not to
letting them
eat
do it.
plants? You don't control your children not to eat plants?
yeah, because over here even school let me show you. I'm gonna show you. I have them because I do it with the kids and
And the plants in the house too. You can't have any plants in the house.
I'm show you. Listen, I'm gonna show you.
I got to get rid of. Look behind me. I just got given those. I got to get rid of them with my inspection coming.
Okay, these are all plants. This is grow and learn, okay? So this is tomato. This is tomato. This is challenge, okay? And this is sweet pepper, bell pepper. The bell pepper. And then I have broccoli. So all the fruits and vegetables that the children use that allow the children to use and plant and watch it grow.
Oh, they're the pea pods.
Right. And they
Pea
watch
pods.
and they grow into plant, into fruit and vegetables.
Uh-huh.
So I tell them back there when they get a certain height, I put it in the garden and they able to pick a tomato from it and eat it. So you're telling me in Pennsylvania, I wouldn't be able to do this.
Now they changed it that if it's an edible plant, then we can, but we have to have strict supervision that the kids don't eat the plant. But they were coming down last year on us for the tomatoes and a couple other plants. That's what I just said while you were away. Look behind me. I was just given those plants and I have an inspection coming up. So I got to hide them because I'm not sure how gladiolas are on the list.
Wow.
Isn't that terrible if it's a birthday or an anniversary or something and somebody gives you plants and or at Christmas time? It's like, oh my God, I got to hide the plants back in the bedroom or something like that just in case an inspector comes in because October or September is my window for my inspection. Can't have any plants in the house, so you can't share them with the kids, but you want to share nature with the kids. So what are you supposed to do?
Yeah. Tasheianna, didn't you say that if you have a child with a disability, they pay you more money?
Yes. With a child with a disability, we got 25% plus that 11%, right? So 25 plus 11, so that's 36% of whatever they pay you.
Wow. We don't get anything extra. It's just extra
No.
work.
Yeah.
They have a special need form that you fill out with kids, and you get 25% raise for that special needs child, and that's what our union fight for. But if
That
you
would be nice.
and as long as you're licensed, you get that. But 25%, and you say in Pennsylvania, you guys don't get that with special needs children.
No. A
Nothing.
child with special needs, you're paid the same through subsidy as you are for a child who doesn't have a special need. And, whether that's a medical special need or a social emotional special need, it doesn't matter. We're paid the same for all children,
I'm gonna
strictly on their age.
I'm gonna show you my invoice where it say one of my parent the certificate where it says that the provider allowed to charge you more based on what the provider allowed to charge you more. They tell them in Pennsylvania if you charge these providers more, you parent more, it's gonna be such that they won't give you that program you talk about for $15 per day.
We're not allowed to charge more for a child with special needs.
No, they want to charge any parent whatsoever. They want to charge. You want to charge any parent more. Are you allowed to charge a parent more than what the subsidy pays?
Yes. In fact, we have to charge. Okay, so here's how it works in Pennsylvania. Our subsidy rates are based on this secret formula that nobody understands. But anyway, our subsidy rates are based on a percentile of the average private pay rate in the community. Okay, so let's say there's 5 family child care providers in my county. And I'm the highest paid rate, and Beth is the lowest paid rate. Both those rates are automatically kicked out and they no longer exist. They take the 3 median rates and they come up with the average rate of those 3 median rates. So say my rate is $250 a week and Beth's rate is $175 a week, and the 3 in between us charge anywhere from $2 to $230 a week. They would take the average of those 3, and that is what subsidy is paid. That's what the subsidy rate is. So our subsidy rate is nowhere near, in most cases, our private pay rates. And then of that average, we're only paid a percentile. So right now, of that average rate, we're paid at the 60th percentile. In this new budget, we just got a raise to the 70th percentile, but the budget passed July 1st, but the raise isn't effective till January 1st. So what the hell are they doing with our money for 6 months?
And they won't pay you proactive for that.
And suppose by the time we get there, for those 6 months, if we have 6 kids now, by January, we might only have 3 subsidized kids. So we're losing all that money.
And they won't go after.
Yep. So we're not getting paid for July, August, September, October, November, December, 7 months. And, like I said, I can have 5 kids under subsidy now, and then come January, I might only have 3 subsidized kids. And plus, they could be infants now, and by January, they could be toddlers and move up a age group, and then that's a lower amount of money. Because
that
the
isn't
older
right.
they are, the less money you get.
I'm going to email it to you guys in a note so you guys can see what we get, how we get paid here, and how on it. And then maybe
Okay.
Denise could probably bring that to the bring it up to show that, okay, this is what a provider in Connecticut, and this is how this subsidy worded. Is this something that we could probably incorporate in it? That other states are doing this. So I will share it with you guys in the email so you guys can see. And but this is really sad. And as far as parents and the new regs and they putting on, like you just showed me, how it's different, how many more new regs there is. It's more regs but less pay. So more work, more paperwork, more demand. But okay, we don't mind, and that's what I tell them here. We don't mind doing what you ask, but pay us for those extra work. Pay us for that extra time that we're going to be putting in, right? And that's the thing. If they're paying you quality pay, right? For quality education. I'm quite sure that you ladies would not mind. Do what you have to do to this. You get decent pay when you can afford to, like you said, like Denise said, retire, pay for insurance. Like I tell you my health insurance. If we don't mind doing the job, paying for the job that we do, don't look at us as babysitter. And I think this is what is going on with a lot of the state. And you know what I don't like is that mail, most of these things are determined by mail. Okay? Most of these laws are being implemented by mail that don't understand the hard work and then don't understand the hard work and looking at, somebody a female stay-at-home mom that, just wanted and said, my husband is work, let me do this. But that's taking away time and we need to figure out a way how to solve this. What do you say, Ms. X? What do you say, Ethel? What do you say? What do you have to say? Like, I know you're in a different scale as this home, but we all face the same issue. But let me know, how do you handle these challenges? How do you handle them? Especially when the inspector comes around with a phone, taking pictures of the phone.
I know. It's like as soon as you do one thing, they change it. It's like you just don't know what to do. You call them and ask, and each inspector is different. It's all right with one inspector, and then another inspector comes in. Oh no, you can't do that. And it's like, well, it was all right. I thought you had that issue with your stove. It was fine for years, and then another one comes in and it's like, oh no, you can't do that. That's one of the issues too. They're not all on the same page. Each inspector is different and each inspection is different. And that's why my anxiety is already kicking in now for my inspection for next month. I don't know when they're coming. It's, our yearly big inspection. Well, they can pop in at any time, but the yearly big one, that 30-day window. And it's, it's already driving me crazy. This is a new inspector. We never had this one before, and it's nuts.
Oh, and when this inspector come, how long do they stay at your house? Because I would stay there the whole day.
That's what I heard this one is. I didn't have this one yet, but from somebody else, 2 other people I know that had them, they're here for several hours.
What about you, Ethel? How long they stay with you?
Well, I'm going to be getting a new inspector too now, so I'm not sure, but before, maybe an hour.
And
That's how the other one was with this new one. From what I'm hearing, they're here like 4 or 5 hours.
What about you, Denise? You have a new inspector as well?
I don't know, because I have a new inspector too. Pennsylvania rotates inspectors every 3 years, so you don't form a relationship and you don't have a comfort level with them.
Well, you saying every 3 years you guys get inspected?
No, we rotate. We're inspected once a year,
Okay.
a minimum of once a year, but they rotate our inspectors. So every 3 years, you have a new inspector. Just when you get in the routine of what the old inspector wants, right? And you feel comfortable if you have a question calling them, then they give you a new inspector. And you start over again with
anxiety, pukes.
Right. Yeah.
Everything else. That's what I was just saying. My anxiety level's way up here because from what I've been hearing of this guy, from the other people that had him, it's crazy.
And that's the thing with our police said. And those guys, we have a commissioner that we call and we explain. Like that's what I tell you the union does, and we have meeting with a commissioner here. I have to give her thanks because she's really good and she's nipping in the butt and she gets there. I had inspectors come in to me and tell me, listen, we license you. We could shut you down. We could come into your house whenever we want. And when they come here, they're like, it's a business, it's not your house and the way. So you have some rude inspectors. You do. And so maybe I'm the one the moment I get my name in a second. I was called, the inspector came out with my tool in the back. And she said, okay, the lock wasn't locked. It was locked, but it wasn't had a padlock on it. But it had the slam lock, but the door wouldn't slam by itself. It had the slam lock. You have to pull it to slam it and it locked there. So they turned to me and they said, you have to have a slam lock. She called me in. I think she sent me a note to the supervisor. She's like, well, we need you to come in Zoom, whatever, and talk about food because I've been getting written up for it forever. It's my fault. I've been getting written up for it. But this time they tell me the full gate, the gate is 5'8". I'm 5'8". The gate is my height. Okay? They tell me a kid could go over it. That gate is 5'8". And no kids I have that's my height. All right? But they tell me the kids could go over it. I did the gate. You guys, that gate is new up and no. The gate been there for years. That's the gate that you guys tell me to put a new gate about 7, 8, 9 years ago, and it's still the same gate. Now, I put an alarm on it now that when someone goes in there, it sends me to the phone. I put a slam lock on it, and she still called me and tell me that I need to lock the slam lock with a key on it. I have 3 locks on it already, and I still need to put a 4th lock on it. So this is what the supervisors I'm going through. So we do have the. So when now she's saying she's sending the inspector out every 3 months to monitor my food. I'm like, okay, you can send her out because my food is about to be closed. I'm saying she's going to come in the winter time. I'm going to personally email her. Are you coming in the winter when it's snow? Because if you're going to send her every 3 months, she has to come back in September and October. So I guess the next time is in December. She's going to go in my food every 3 months. We only allow what 3 months, 2 months, barely 3 months in the summertime for the food. And then the food is good. So she said every 3 months she's going to send someone to monitor the food. And this is what the supervisor did. I did not talk to the commissioner, but like I said, we have a commissioner. She's really understanding. She was a provider before. And I have to give her thanks. And she and the governor really came a long way for us. And that's what we would like to implement how our governor, we haven't come a long way, but we still have a longer way to go. Our governor and our commissioner and our union fight here and how other advocacy that we have here to help you guys in Pennsylvania and across the United States to have one system for all providers. That's my goal and that's my hope. To have not Pennsylvania, not Connecticut doing this, New York doing that, Atlanta doing this, California doing that, but we got one goal when it comes down to childcare. We're not going to say we have the same law, but we're on the same level of understanding. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Understanding. And that's what we're hoping for. And I know you said you've been on this thing for how many years? You've been on you've been an advocate on these organizations.
Mhm.
And I would love to see if we could get more providers on it. Because you only being the one voice, you need more help with you. When they see there's a lady here too that's also an older voice, and she said the same thing you said. She's like, I'm telling you, when you hear how they talk about providers, it's like as if we're nothing at all. They don't respect us. They look at us as uneducated females that just sit home and just put the kids in the front of TV. That's why I turned to them. I said, when I go to represent, and I'm sorry, I refuse to represent us in jeans and t-shirts. I refuse to. I'm going to represent us as a business, and we are a business. And I'm going to go professional, and I'm going to go and I will represent any business if I'm in the corporate world, because guess what? This is our business. And this, yes, we may have an LLC, so that's it's still a corporation. So I'm going to represent us as that manner, right? And that's what we want to get. But we've seen all this problem. We've seen all this that we go into. What is the solution? That's what we need, a solution. More funding, I could say. You said a program to advocate training program, which is one we could come up with.
So I think that we have started part of the solution with social media. And, and I'm not a big social media advocate, but this is a very, very, very isolated and isolating industry. Okay. We're by ourselves all day, every day in family childcare with a bunch of hooligans, right? Running around our house. We see parents when they're stressed in the morning, dropping their kids off to get to work. And when they're stressed in the afternoon, picking them up to take them to the 4,007 activities they're in, right? We are in our homes, right? By ourselves. And this is a hard business. You don't interact. It's hard to talk on the phone during the day when you have, 6 hooligans running around and everybody knows when you're on the phone, and that's when everything happens. At night, providers are exhausted. This is a hard job. I think that we could benefit from social media and utilizing social media, whether it be Facebook or what's the one the kids use now?
Snapchat.
Snapchat or Instagram or whoever. But then you have to be careful because it's not safe in a lot of instances. You know what I'm saying? It's infiltrated by people who aren't providers and it's hard to control.
Mhm.
Okay. So I don't know what the answer is. I don't know what the answer is to gain provider support and trust, how to even reach providers where they are as they are. It's hard. I don't have a solution. I think it's many solutions.
Right. So what I'm gonna do, and we're gonna leave in this note. I'm gonna send an email with every one of us from that, included Eva with it, and see her days because I know they have the summer off. So if you guys could tell me a day when it's good, the best for you guys, and we could meet up and we could have Eva. I'm gonna tag Eva in the conversation along with us, and she's much better at this than I am, and we have a Monday morning show that we all get on in the morning and we talk about what's going on. And maybe you guys can learn from there. And maybe she could put you on to the Monday morning show. And then you guys could see. And we have that also that advocate for us. And maybe they could sit there and get in with your lawmakers and they could sit there and advocate for you guys and see how it is. Because it's a network system. We have to build a network. And I think that's the first step that we have to do is build network. If we don't have a network of us together, and it's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, it's going to be hard. But if we have people pulling up by the thousands and doing this and showing them, like when I went to California, I leave from here, they have a march with California. I leave from here, I went all the way to California and I advocate for health insurance, 401k, and guess what? They got it. So like I said, it's network. What we did is you have people from Connecticut, New York, you have people from Pennsylvania, you have people all over the state, flying. Okay, so this is what I'm trying to build, this network where people, we all to come together. And that law was passed where California has health insurance and 401k. If California could do it, so can other states.
How did they do it? How did they get the
California's union.
benefits?
Hey, Denise, they were one of the first unions.
Well, with California, what they do, we rally, and we rally about the Capitol, and we rally, and we rally, and we, like again, everybody comes together. And like I said, I'm not from California, I'm in Connecticut. We leave from Connecticut and go over there to support them. And that's what I'm hoping that you guys could get. We leave from New York, and New York went over there. People from Pennsylvania come over there, right? And it's a network. Everyone was together. So if you see, when they see that people from every state coming in to rally for this one cause, or 2 causes, right? Now this is becoming a state issue. It's a statewide issue. It's not only inclusive, right? Where it's only Californians fighting it. You see that every provider was coming in to fight with the Californians, with the providers in California, and that's what we did. That's how they were able to do it. Because they fight, they rally, and they advocate. Advocate. And advocacy is the best way. And they advocate for it, and that we all work together. It was a togetherness as a team. And like I said, we doing it by ourselves, we need to build a network. And I'm gonna send you ladies Eva information, and I'm gonna forward this to Eva, and she's gonna see it, and I'm gonna hope that she could come on and we can start with her, and she could be able to tell us how we can make this a bigger issue in Pennsylvania, how we can reach others in Pennsylvania, how we can reach your legislator and everyone and delegate and advocate for more funding, and maybe there's ways that we could advocate and she could tell us how we can better with the South, right?
Right.
So we can do it. And in Connecticut, like I said, we advocate, we fight. I know we did it, and the center has just got along where we just passed a law for the centers where, and the group and centers, where they get $180, $1,800 incentive for like for your substitute. Even if you're a family doctor provider and you won't get it, but the group and the centers that they get $1,800. We just have a grant, this grant, and like you said, infants, that a lot of infants, no one want to take infants for the same thing issue. It left me a ratio. So now they give us grants for people to expand or to fix anything else, they can make more infants and toddlers space. And now that's what they're doing. So maybe we could work on that and see where the grants comes in. So we get grants over here. We get a lot of grants, and that's through us fighting and rallying. And I hope that we could do the same thing for Pennsylvania.
Yeah. We, honestly, we got significant grant money that they've taken away from us. I mean, we used to get what, Tina? Close to $5,000 a year. Huh?
Like 5,200.
Yeah. Yeah. We used to get over $5,000 a year in education and retention and merit award grants. And this state does not value childcare. And so they're non-existent now.
Okay.
I think we're going to get what? $1,500?
Yep.
Yeah.
1,500.
Which
the other 4,000.
That's 15 years ago, and you don't get no grant no more.
Right. And Star 2s only get $500.
Ethel's getting 2,000, and how much did you used to get from their education and retention?
I think it was about the same as what you got, because I was.
So you got more than me. Well, yeah, you weren't a Star 4 then, so you got
Yeah.
you got more than me, but being a group, but yeah.
But even the feds don't. They pay a lot of lip service to childcare, but the food program took 10 cents a meal away from us that they gave us during COVID, because I guess they think it costs less to feed children now than 5 years ago.
And it costs a lot more. And you know what? All the schools are getting free breakfasts.
I know, I saw that. But they took
they're
10
getting
cents
it
a
now.
meal.
Some of them are getting free lunches.
Not just
And
in
then we're getting
Pennsylvania.
less money.
I mean, not just in Pennsylvania. The feds took that across the board in every state in the union. We all get 10 cents less a meal and a snack than we did during
Because
COVID.
they're giving it, I guess, to the schools because the schools are getting free breakfasts and a lot of them are getting free lunches.
Mhm.
Yep. And it's
All the
ridiculous
kids,
'cause the
all
food-
the kids get.
and I don't understand this ratio of us because the kid makes less money versus the kid that makes more money, and that's such a huge ratio there for the tier 1 and the tier 2 for how much money we get reimbursed. That is so freaking ridiculous because
It
it's the
is
same
terrible.
food that we're giving the kids.
Wow. We need a solution, and we need to come up with a way to do this. We
And
need.
we're the only ones to get reimbursed that way too.
Mhm.
Nobody else gets reimbursed like that.
If you guys go back to school, do you get reimbursement for going back to school?
We have the teach program here, yes.
Okay.
So
Yeah, but that quit when I was going back. They stopped that in the middle of me going back, so I still got freaking student loans
okay. But
because I was in the middle of going back. So I ended up
that
paying
was a
on my
big
own.
thing. Our legislators were just stupid.
Yeah.
Right. So they did away with the teach program for about 5 years, and they
Yeah, when I was going.
initiated it. So yes, we do have teach. They, reimburse for tuition. They reimburse for substitutes, books, whatever.
Certain
yes.
percentage.
Yeah. So we do have that scholarship program back.
But you can only take X amount of classes at a time, which isn't much, like 2 classes at a time. So it takes you forever if you do it at their level.
Okay, so we're gonna leave on that note to say that we're gonna follow back, and I'm gonna send you ladies a link with Eva, and I'm texting. I just text her to have her give me a call, and if she could join the Zoom with all of us ladies, and she could give us some ideas, and you know, to make a network, a bigger network, not only the small, but something greater, and give as much support as we can to you, because we want all of us to be in the same team. So all of us are making a difference in these children's lives. And that's what I want to see. Okay? And I thank each and every one of you guys
Thank you.
tonight.
Thank you.
Y'all have a
Good
good
night.
evening.
Thank you.
Y'all have a great
Good night.
Have a good evening.
Good night.
Good night.